Unlearning proposes that new ways of learning can only be acquired when individuals unlearn those thoughts, those emotions, and those behaviors that prevent us from fully flourishing in the world.
2 weeks into this course, my heart already knew that my entire viewpoint on humanity was going to change.
During the years that I've worked with Taryn, she has assisted me in seeing the potential as an individual, and the course has changed my life for the better. I am the person that I am today because of the course that I enrolled for.
I've been lecturing the content for 7 years, and every year I am in awe of students who share how the content has transformed them both academically and personally. I believe that the world right now is in desperate need of an education that equips individuals with both academic and personal development skills.
Before this course happened, I used to hate people from the bottom of my soul. But after this course, for the first time in my life, I can say that I no longer hate people. I can finally say that I no longer see people for their circumstances, but rather for who they are as people and who they can become.
The things that I learned in my early childhood about who I was not and who I was supposed to be. However, the course showed me the true identity of myself. It showed me that it was okay to be vulnerable. It showed me that it was okay to heal. And throughout the course, I have grown tremendously.
And the Unlearning course does that. I realized that the content was so powerfully transformative that it would be irresponsible, that it would be selfish for me not to share it with the world. Unlearning is really a course that I've been lecturing for 7 years, but I've made it bigger, I've made it better, and I'm excited to incorporate the performing arts. I do not believe that unlearning needs to be clinical and boring. We can also make unlearning entertaining and fun.
To anyone that would want to enroll in this course, it will not only benefit you academically, but also individually. It will assist you in presenting yourself as the true individual that you are, but it will also assist you in healing and journeying the life process.
This course was the missing puzzle piece that I needed in my journey of self-transformation and self-discovery. And most of all, this course taught me how to unlearn this toxic behavior and how to choose happiness and positivity in the present and to stop worrying about tomorrow.
The gift of this course is that it is universally applicable to any personal and professional contexts. Cornerstone, learn to change the world.
In this time of great uncertainty, there's one thing you can be certain of: your education. Our wide range of online programs let you upskill yourself and earn a leading-edge qualification from the comfort of your own home. We've been educating Africa for 50 years, so we know how to adapt to our forever-changing landscape. Learn to change the world and take control today. Speak to one of our student advisors. Visit cornerstone.ac.za to enroll now.
Hi, you're listening to the Cornerstone Critical Dialogues, a partnership between Bush Radio and Cornerstone Institute, a non-profit private institute of higher learning in Cape Town. For the past 4 years, more than 100 of South Africa's top thinkers, intellectuals, and social activists have shared their thoughts and insights with Cornerstone audiences about how to overcome some of our toughest social, economic, and political challenges. They've looked at issues such as gender-based violence, urban food security, and the impact of COVID-19 on higher education. These debates are now coming to you via this 2-hour radio show, as well as streaming via Facebook and YouTube. It will also be edited into a 1-hour podcast for listening at your convenience. Hosted by veteran journalist Ryan Fortune, it will see a rotating lineup of guests, speaking on topics such as community health and wellness, the state of African book publishing, the viability of a basic income grant in South Africa, policing and gangsterism on the Cape Flats, contemporary Khoisan conflicts, the pitfalls and opportunities in the current state of the internet, and much, much more. We hope you enjoy these discussions and encourage you to call in with your thoughts, ideas, questions, and solutions at Bush Radio on 021 448 3277 or message us on Bush Radio WhatsApp at 061 862 1065. If you're watching our live stream on Cornerstone's Facebook page or YouTube channel, please feel free to leave your comments there.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lunga Chika, the Energizer Funny, and you're tuned into Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio. Tonight, I'll be standing in for Ryan Fortune, who is your usual guy, and I've got 3 special guests, 2 with me in studio, and 1 will be calling in. Now, I know we have 1 day left before we wrap up 2021, and I think it's safe to say that it's been a crazy year and different, a lot different for all of us. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from all of you guys. So tell us and tune into us, WhatsApp us. We want to hear about your 2021 in review. So get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line. That number is 061 862 1065. The number is again 061 862 1065. Like I said, I've got some special guests in the house tonight. We're going to be talking about all things 2021. We want to hear from you guys. Like, we all have different perspectives of what's going on, what we've been through. And I have a couple of topics here we're going to banter on, and we'd love to get some participation from you guys. But before we get into all of that, I'd like to take this opportunity to give the mics or the floor to my special guests that are in the room. So please, I don't want to tell who you are. I believe that you can give us the best version of your introduction. So ladies and gentlemen, over to my first guest, very beautiful woman. Tell us who you are. Who goes there?
It's Mel Jones, ladies and gentlemen. I am a comedian, a single mother, a former radio presenter and producer. But tonight, I'm just here to have fun. So all of that goes out the window, because here we are talking about 2021. And if we're looking back at 2021 and 2020, if we can't laugh at it, then we're just going to cry. So let's not. Let's move into 2022 with some joy and some happiness, and look back with a different perspective, fresh eye, change the narrative, have some good times.
Yes, definitely. I mean, that's what we need. Desperately, that's what we need in the world now, in our households, in our businesses. We need that everywhere. But before we get into all of that, like I said, I've got another guest, and I'm going to give an opportunity to introduce himself. Who goes there?
My name is Chris Ferndale. I write poetry, and I've been doing it for a number of years, about 30 years now. I'll be talking about our issues poetically. So, are we a country at war, or Are we a country at peace?
Yeah.
Are we happy in the Western Cape? And how do we undo all our struggles
Absolutely.
and be a happy developmental country? And so I will look at that lightheartedly.
Lovely stuff. So, like I said, we all have different perspectives here tonight. I have a few things that I want to speak about. Mel Jones got a few things that she wants to speak about. And as you heard from Chris, he's also got a few things that he would like to speak about. But the whole point of it, like Mel said, we want to make everything lighthearted and we have to laugh at everything. That's the only way that we can grow and look at our problems and learn something from it. So guys, do not get stuck in where you are. Do not get stuck in that. I know this year has been a very, very challenging year, especially when it comes to mental health. But let's get with some of the perspectives. You know, I've been hearing so many different perspectives of what this year is about. You know, some people are saying it's the zombie apocalypse. Everyone's going to turn into zombies. Some people say it's the end of days. And it's probably like the third time it's the end of days now, because I believe in the 2000 we expected the end of days. And in 2012 we expected end of days. And now we're calling it the end of days again. Some people are calling it the Great Awakening. I like that one. And I think I resonate a lot with that one. But Mel, in one sentence, can you tell me how was your 2021?
Well, I do remember the 2012 Mayan calendar ended,
Yeah.
and then nothing happened, and
Absolutely.
everyone
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, "Oops, let's move on and forget about that." So yeah, I think that 2021, it depends on which perspective, because I've had a lot of people who've suffered real loss, and I've had a lot of people who have suffered job loss and have gone through some adversities, but you're still here. You're still shining. You're still struggling. There's a lot. I call it the loop of doom, because we keep going over and over and over the same thing. So it's becoming more and more difficult to find things to laugh at, but we have to. It's one of those
Absolutely.
things. We have to find things to be grateful for. We have to find things to experience gratitude about. We have to find things to see some joy in, because if we get sucked into that wormhole, it's a very dangerous place to be. So I think that this is the time to realize that we are not going through it alone. Reach
Yes.
out to people. Reach out to people that you think are struggling. Speak to them. Have some sort of connection. Start a WhatsApp group. Everybody loves a WhatsApp
Yeah.
group. You know what I mean? Don't invite me to the WhatsApp group. I'm in enough WhatsApp groups.
Yeah. Lovely stuff.
Sorry, you
Chris?
said one sentence. Oops.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, we have a lot to say. Let's be honest. We have a lot to say about what happened this year. But we get in that. We have 2 hours to unfold and unpack every single thing. And hopefully, we're going to have lots of laughter while we're doing that. Chris, can you tell me one
Look,
sentence?
it's been a year of sadness. It's
Absolutely.
Been, many people have had many losses and so on. And I think that our people, as Mel said, our people are psychologically affected by the pandemic and by the loss of family, by the loss of friends and so on. But we've been strengthened with lots of stories of hope in our communities, of people supporting us. If you look at the many people who came out and had soup kitchens and did voluntary work, all kinds of activities and support activities were developed during this particular year. And there was a lot of strength built within our community. So I have hope in our community strength and in our volunteerism in our country to bring us out of this, and that I believe that we can develop despite all of the sadness, despite all the issues, despite all the difficulties that we've had. I think our people are diligent, our people have that spirit within them that can rebuild and redevelop our society, and especially in the Western Cape. I think we are a very, very positive people.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, you touched on a lot of things that were actually really happening and very inspirational. We have a caller? Sorry, I forgot about my third guest. Sorry, apologies. I just got so drawn in with who I'm chilling with here in studio. He's probably so angry at me. Like I said, ladies and gents, I have another guest also calling in. So let's give him an opportunity. Sorry, Eugene. We're just going straight into it. Let's give him an opportunity to introduce himself and also share his 2021 in one sentence. Eugene, over to you.
Am I on? Is this thing on? Am I here?
Are you here?
Hello?
Are you there?
Are you there?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Hello? Testing 1, 2.
Can you hear us, Eugene? Eugene, can you hear us? We were just trying to connect with
Is
Eugene. He
anybody
is
there?
on the line. We did
Are you
check
guys
him.
going to talk? Is it dead?
It's just we're having, I don't know. Eugene, use your Wi-Fi. Use your Wi-Fi, brother. Don't use your
This is a
data.
normal call. I mean, use my Wi-Fi. You phoned me.
Okay, look, we're gonna try and figure you out. We're gonna try and sort that out. But in the meantime, I just want to touch on some of these banter, these light-hearted concepts. Let's talk about this, guys. Let's just try and put ourselves in some of these concepts, and let's see, like, how would you deal with it? Let's say this was a zombie apocalypse, because people are saying with the whole thing, people's like, oh no, like we're connecting the dots. This is exactly how Resident Evil started. There was a virus, and then people got vaccines, and then from the vaccines turned into made the people turn into zombies, and people saying that's exactly what's happening to us now. So they like, no, I know exactly how to kill a zombie. Apparently you got to aim for the head, and you got a couple of weapons and stuff. Mel, what do you think about that?
I think that if this were the zombie apocalypse, I would be the person who finally finds the love interest in a grocery store that's been abandoned.
Yeah.
You know where people go and look for the food?
Yes.
In the grocery store that's been abandoned, I'm going to find my love interest, and he's going to be turned into a zombie, and I'm going to be the one that's going to save him, and I'm going to be a hero.
Yeah.
And we're going to find some weapons. I'm going to find a big old frozen leg of lamb, and I'm going to knock someone out with it.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to
yeah.
take the weapons where you can.
Yes,
you can't,
yes,
not
absolutely.
everyone's going to have a gun and a knife and a shovel.
Absolutely.
You're
They
gonna-
pop
some
up
of us
anyway.
are going to have to just take like a child's toy and throw stuff. You know those children's darts?
Yes.
Use those
Aim for the head.
and aim for the head. You've got to do what you've got to do in a zombie apocalypse, guys. You can't just assume that this is going to be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger one where you kind of arrive and then there's like machetes and what do you call those, flame blasts? You can't. There's none of that. You've got to take what we've got. But if this were the zombie apocalypse, I think that we'd be okay, because no one ever comes to Mitchell's Plains. In the zombie apocalypse, people are going to be like, no, let's stay away from that. We're fine. Let's go to Camps Bay and Clifton and Constantius. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. No one comes there. Yeah, absolutely. Because everyone's, not even Uber comes there, bro. So like, there's no zombies going to walk till there. I think they're all going to go where everyone congregates, you know, where everyone's having a good time. Yeah, so that's hilarious. Chris, if it was a zombie apocalypse, how would you react to the situation?
I think that we're already in a zombie situation. Our ministers think that we are zombies. They want to put us in compressed aeroplanes. From one international airport to another international airport. Mbalula is very, very creative in the way in which he declared all our local airports international airports. We had roadblocks forever everywhere. The man with the big hat just creating robots. He was like a zombie creating. Stop, go, don't go. You may not have a drink. Close your shopin, don't party. Now you can have a small Indiana party. The skeletons are not supposed to come out of the closet because everybody has a little skeleton in the closet. And just now there is a big problem with all the skeletons coming to Parliament to haunt the politicians. And that's also really a problem. So we had all kinds of those kinds of zombie-like kind of issues within the pandemic. And our people couldn't always cope with it. Our people, one group, called for an inch of freedom. While also I said, no, you must keep your swirlcos on your head. You know, don't get out of bed. Don't get to your fridge, but don't move out without your mask and so on. And the president made that declaration. Keep your swirlcos on your head. And
you paraphrase, I'm sure. I don't think I've ever heard. My fellow South Africans, keep your swirlcos on your head.
We are in difficult times. I've lost my iPad. Please keep your swirlcos on your head. Good night.
Don't get out of bed. Don't get out of your house until we tell you so.
Yeah, hilarious. Let's try and see if we can connect with Eugene this time. Eugene, are you there? Are you still with us? Please give us a little bit of life.
Hi, Lunga.
Hey. Yes, I can hear you. Absolutely fine. Please, Eugene, introduce yourself to the lovely listeners. Tell us how has been 2021 for you in a very short sentence.
2021 was really the year that I thought I was going to take my own life.
Whoa,
I'll be honest with you. I really thought I was going to, but I didn't, because I'm not going to let the haters get that satisfaction. Don't be silly. I'm still here.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I mentioned it earlier on. We had a lot of mental health challenges this year, and I think I appreciate how much it's been normalized and like it's been taken to like a social media. Because to be honest with you, take me just back 5 years ago. If you ask me what is mental health, I would tell you, no, mental health are the crazy people that's living in an institution, that kind of thing. Yes. And I educated myself, and I found out that mental health comes in so many forms, a form of being like, when people are claustrophobic, that could be a symptom of mental health, Depression is a symptom of mental health. There's so many forms and so many ways that we can look at mental health, and can get this. And it's very, very important that we speak about these things. And that's why Mel said that's the purpose of tonight, to bring the lightheartedness. Because yes, we all had some hectic challenges this year. Yeah, some hectic challenges. I remember Mel had one show. I killed myself. I can't say the name of the show on radio, but she knows what show I'm talking about. She's like, tonight it's just that kind of night. It's that kind of night. I had that kind of day, and it's that kind of night, And I'm sure most of us can say that we've had that kind of year. So, Eugene, we were talking about the zombie apocalypse. Can you please give us your view? What would you do in that situation?
I am one of those so over it kind of people. I just say, eat my brains. I'm fine. I'm over this. Why am I running? I don't need to run. Why am I fighting for my life? This is too much work.
Yeah.
Just spare me, make me a zombie also, and then I'll be cool. Like,
yeah.
I believe that I am a person that what I do is bring joy to people.
Absolutely.
And this year, people have found ways, they were creative in their ways of making me really angry and really depressed. Oh, I didn't mean to be this person on the show tonight. But a lot of people have really gotten to me. Yeah. And I've also experienced a lot of loss this year. I'll tell you something. January 2021, for the first 28 days of January, somebody I loved died. Mm-hmm. And that really took its toll on me mentally. And I'm so proud of POC, people of color, because now that whole thing of, no, you're not allowed to be sad. You have to be strong. That is changing. It's evolving.
Absolutely.
And men are allowed to cry. Men are allowed to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see that change happening, and that gives me hope. That makes me feel like, okay, cool, we're getting somewhere here.
Yeah. That is so true, and that actually ties in with one of the topics that popped up with this whole all the people talking about the conspiracy when they're speaking about the Great Awakening. A lot of people are speaking about the mental health thing that we are tackling. Generational curses or something that's coming up, and people are changing things. We're changing the way that we communicate with each other. We're changing the way we communicate in the household, and like you said, it's taking a lovely turn. And I saw not too long ago on Facebook, there was this post about a men's camp, a men's healing camp. And the images just tells everything. You see men holding each other up, in support. You see men crying and all that stuff. And this is something that we all looked at as a weakness back in the day. But now it's more seen as a strength because you're transforming and like I said, we're breaking all of these curses. Mel, is there anything that you'd like to add on to that?
I think that it's very important to have the conversations. I think that's where it starts.
Yes.
Because we'll talk about it, and these generational curses need to be broken. But if we don't speak to our parents and our parents' parents, those generational curses may not take full effect, because we don't realize what our parents went through, because they were also taught that we mustn't speak, we must keep quiet, must sweep under the rug. So I've been having really good conversations with my mother about things that I didn't even understand that she was going through, and I had no idea what she was going through, because she was also, no, you speak when you're spoken to. None of this is something that we talk. We don't talk out.
Yes.
We don't talk out the house.
Yes.
Don't talk out the house. So we didn't speak out the house, but now trying to understand what our parents were going through, and knowing that if they knew better, they would do better. That they raised us the best way they knew how, and so now in order for us to raise the next generation, we can do better by learning from them and the mistakes that they made, correcting it and moving forward and saying no more.
Yes.
No more of this silence, no more of the not having a conversation with our kids, no more of the not hugging, no more of the not showing affection, no more of the not having a shoulder to lean on, no more of not being able to speak to your parents about, I'm not feeling good. I know you're overreacting. None of that. You know what I mean? Just kind of going, what you are feeling is real, and validating that person.
Yes.
And if it's not a parent that you can speak to, if your parents are no longer around, a person, find a person, a friend, a colleague, a partner. But it's important to speak about these things and have these conversations and thereby change the narrative. Because we don't move forward if we don't look back a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and can we just teach POC that some things, people say, no, that's white people stuff.
Yeah.
It's not white people stuff. It's everybody's problem. I do a lot of work in the cancer community, and there are still people under the impression that, no, that's white people disease. I'm like, no, it's not. You have it. You, POC, you person of color, you have it. So how can it be a white person disease? It's not a white people problem. Okay, maybe privilege and stuff like that, but that's not what we're talking about right now. But there are
That's not a disease.
It affects us as well, as strongly, as hectically. And now, Jones, can I just add that you should add actress to your little bio that you gave earlier. You said stand-up comedian, radio producer, and actress. As for your TV, you were acting and actress. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Actually,
you.
Mel killed it not too long ago. All right, guys. Looks like we're going to have to take a music break. It's got really, really hectic in the first segment. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Like I said, please get into us. Our WhatsApp line is 061-862-1065. Again, that is 061-862-1065. We'd like to hear from you guys. What does your 2021 look like? Again, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio, and I am Lunga Chika, the Energizer Funny.
You are listening to Bush Radio 89.5 FM, the mother of community radio in Africa.
Like Fogger, pull up in a beam, too much, too clean, young taller. I don't foster, serious and daughter. A big time player, trip too big and kinda. I went flexer, Tina said gym, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't bet it on liquor, Shay's on the picture. MJ on the sheet, thriller. Funny vibes every night. Answer, Namtalagati, Costa, I can start like Fogger. Pull up in a beam, too much, too clean and taller. I don't foster, serious and daughter. A big time player, a trip too big and kinda. I went flexer, Tina said gym, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't bet it on liquor. Shay's on the picture. MJ on the sheet. Thriller. Funny vibes every night. I forget. Recupera diverse. To the full set. Otama yaka jet. Elevana baba dance. Oh yes, my baby's a oh yes. Oh yes, my baby's a oh yes. Before they fix a couple dumb period. I don't make a dive. But I forget. Recupera diverse. To the full set. Otama yaka jet. Elevana baba dance. Oh yes, my baby's a oh yes. Oh yes, my baby's a oh yes. Before they fix a couple dumb period. I don't make a dive. Fokker. Yeah, pull up in a beam. Too much, too clean, young taller. I don't foster. Serious another. A big time player. Trip too big in Ganja. I went flexer. Yeah, Tina said gym. Yeah, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't put it on me. Liquor. Yeah, Shay's on me. Picture. MJ on the sheet. Thriller. Funny vibes every night. Answer. Nantalagata. Costa. Yeah, a good style like Fokker. Huh. Pull up in a beam. Too much, too clean, I'm taller. I don't foster. Serious another. Yeah, a big time player. A crib too big in Kanye. I went flexer. Yeah, Tina said gym. Yeah, too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't put it on me. Liquor. Yeah, Shay's on me. Picture. MJ on the sheet. Thriller. Funny vibes every night. Answer.
Radio, the station with the best music. 89.5 FM.
Don't touch that dial.
Yeah, that is right, ladies and gents. If you've just joined us, you are tuned into the Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio. My name is Lunga Chuka, the Energizer Funny. And if you're looking for Ryan Fortune, he's not here tonight. I'm taking over. I'm just standing in for tonight. Tonight, we are talking all things 2021 in review. We started off nice and heated and got a little deep. And I just want to bring on one more topic of the lighthearted, conspiracy theory things. I just want to touch on, I want to get your guys' feel on this one, because this one for me is particularly one that raises the vibrations and the frequency. It raises the happiness, It's the Great Awakening. So people are saying that what actually is happening is a great awakening. We are shifting into better days. We've experienced so much things like war and all of that stuff, and they are saying that we're going into a completely new earth, and what we are going through is a purge of the negativity, and we're all just going to be accepting positivity and light. A lot of people, if you talk about the whole biblical term, they're saying, yeah, it's going to be those 1,000 years of peace with Jesus Christ. But we don't want to get too deep into religion and all of that thing. We want to keep it lighthearted. So I just want to hear the different perspectives. I've noticed a lot of spiritual groups also started forming up and speaking about this great awakening. I like this perspective. I'm with this team. I'm with this WhatsApp group. So
Team
let's
Awakening.
Hear. Yes.
Team Awakening.
Yeah. Chris, please tell us, what do you think about this whole great awakening? Have you heard about the great awakening? Or what's your opinion on this?
Man, to be honest and with you, I like being spiritual.
Yes.
I like linking with my ancestors in a way in which I think about them, in a way in which I celebrate them.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that they saved our current future for us, and they stepped lightly on the earth, and that they saved our environment for us. And now we are messing it all up. And the environment is getting back at us.
Yeah.
And we want to put concrete on everything. We want to put concrete on the Philippi food basket.
Yeah.
We want to blast the sea. Shell is blasting the sea, and we want to crack the Karoo, and we're doing all kinds of things to destroy the earth.
Yeah.
And that is a major thing for me, in the sense that is creating what do you call
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic event.
Lekker Chris. Sê het so. Sê wat het so is. Is klaar wat het so is, apocalyptic.
Ja, apocalyptic. Ja. Daai besigheid van julle. Ons is klaar besig om die apocalyptic te create.
That's what I'm saying. That's what people are saying.
Blasting the sea, cracking the Karoo and stuff like that, man. Hey, my bro, man. Nou het ons nog 'n pandemic ook nog,
Yeah.
Ons breek die hele wêreld af we are very anti-environmental kind of issues. And so that for me will bring greater change than the kind of religious perspective on change. I think we must use the kind of religious, environmental, and all of those kinds of issues are not separated from each other.
Yeah.
Because if we say God created earth and this beautiful Eden of us, and then man came around and messed it up after eating the apple and so on, and then the Chinese skinned the snake and ate the snake and so on. You know?
Yeah, no, there's so many crazy. There are so many. That story actually
Adam
turns.
And Eve, they were placed in a beautiful Eden, Garden of Eden. And then the snake told Eve that we must eat the apple. And then they ate the apple.
It's the red apple.
And then the Chinese came along. They caught the snake, skinned it, and ate it.
But Chris, let me just tell you now that there are people there who are saving the world. There's that man who went to go and have a relationship with an octopus, and he's saving the world through being friends with the ocean creatures now.
Wow.
And there are vegans now. They are also saving the world. They are saving because they're worried about the fishing.
And the octopus, the one octopus that made the predictions about the world and life and sports.
Listen, guys, is this not the year of 2022, the year of the octopus? I don't know.
Hey, it's been the year of everything.
I'm quite happy. I'm looking forward to the year of awakening or the coming up awakening, because there's a lot of people that were fast on Islam. And I think that it's time for them to wake up, because I'm wide awake. I am so wide awake that I'm woke. Ooh. You know?
She had to say it.
I had to say it. I said it. There it is. There it is. Woke. My son's going to be so unhappy with me because he's going to be like, Mommy, I told you not to say stuff like that. So yes, so we have all of this, but there's a juxtaposition. There's a whole bunch of people who are trying to do good. There are a whole bunch of other people who are trying to fix and trying to repair not only the earth and the resources, and trying to find ways to save what we have, but there are also people who are trying to save relationships. There are people who are trying to save, who are trying to make things better going forward. Because yes, we can look back and we can say how everybody's messed up everything, but that's not the solution. We've got to find a solution going forward.
Yes.
And I say all of those people who are doing bad, let's just throw them in the ocean. Because, you know, then that way we sort out global warming anyway. Sort out the
Feed the sharks.
That's hilarious.
Feed the fish.
Feed the fish so that they can breed more, and then we will have more fish, and then the vegans, they can at least have tuna. Do you know what I mean? Have a blocky tuna for you, because, you know, you can't even have mayonnaise because it's got... Shame, man. I can't imagine a life without mayonnaise. Imagine not having potato salad for the rest of your life. Shame. They're suffering a lot out there to fix this future of ours.
Yes.
So let us all band together to save mayonnaise.
Wow, I never saw it going there, but we'll take it. It's anything better than 2021. Eugene, are you still with us? Could you tell us, what do you think about the Great Awakening?
I think that people appreciate, or shall I say more people appreciate the time that they have. So they are spending less time with toxic people.
Yes.
And I find that when we perform on stage, when people laugh, they laugh with everything because they missed it for such a long time. And now that they have it, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to... Like, I did a show a couple of weeks ago in, what area was that? It could have been Claremont at Kennel. I think there were 4 people in that audience. Yeah. But it sounded like there were 140 people the way they were laughing. And I was hosting the show, and I asked them individually, like, is the joke really that funny? Is it that funny? Or do you just need the laughter? And they were like, combination of both. You guys are really good, but people are appreciating the time so much more, and that is going to change things for the better, because now people are not going to be exposing themselves to the toxic people in their lives, and then their lives will be better. The toxic people will have nobody to perform to, so the toxic people will influence more toxic people, and then they will just eventually, they will whittle away over there in the corner.
Throw them in the ocean, Eugene.
Come again?
Throw them in the ocean.
Well, I don't know if we want to pollute the ocean so much. They're going through so much. Can't we just put them on an island? Put them on a fire island or something?
Yeah.
And like,
throw all of
let them love there, FYRE, fire island.
Yeah. It's hilarious. You know what? I love all of your perspectives on this. You know, I like that. Chris pointed out all of the bad stuff. You know, and that is somehow pushing a lot of people to wake up because they're noticing all of these bad things, and people's like, no, we need to change this. You know, I love what Mel also said with the whole change and save the mayonnaise. I love that stuff. So viva the awakening and viva mayonnaise, guys. We are all in it for the positivity.
Can I bring up one thing quickly?
Yes.
We had an election this year, and our area saw a record amount of people going to vote.
Yeah.
People were so apathetic about the elections, but then they went to go vote. They didn't vote for the right party, but they voted. That's a change.
Yeah.
That's a start.
People
need
to do something, you know. People need to do something. When they said like we're on level 3 or whatever, I ran outside. I just ran. I don't know where I was running. I ran until I was tired, and I was like, "Cool." I was outside.
This is why I don't run.
Running is so ethnic.
Listen. So, okay, one of our guests is actually a poet. I forgot to mention that. They introduced themselves. So Mel, she told you that she's a phenomenal comedian and all of those amazing things that she's done. Eugene also told you that he's also a phenomenal comedian. I've shared the stage with both of them. They are amazing. I learn a lot from them, and it's such an honor to have them conversating with me here tonight. And I'm meeting Chris for the very first time. So, Chris, can you just tell us who don't know who you are, where do you come from, and how long have you been doing poetry?
Oh, I've been doing poetry for a while now, since the 80s, when we were involved in the UDF.
My age.
Cultural kind of organization with poets making a contribution, cultural workers, and so on. And when the UDF was banned, we created cultural activities, and we continued with our activities underground, and we used arts, culture, music to continue the message of the struggle. So, I've been writing for a while.
Oh, that's cool. And I believe that you have quite a few poems. So for those of you who are tuning in the live feed, as you can see on the table, he came prepared. I think he brought all the poems from the 80s up until now. I'm just kidding. He brought some of his favorite heavy hitters. We're going to give him some time so that he can do his poems. Let's us indulge in it. And guys, those who are listening in, the way that you respond to poetry is snapping the fingers. So every time you hear something good, you go, ooh, and you snap those fingers. All right, let's get into the poetry. Do you need a poetry bit?
I'm just talking about corruption, that's all. The fact that we
don't
in a pandemic way.
All right, Chris, over to you.
Can you ace corruption and change? It's a mammoth task. Eating an elephant bit by bit and not letting any knowledge about it slip past gloating lips. Palms have been oiled, whoring partners and bed sheets have been soiled. From Joburg to Dubai, imaginary Shabeens visited and mountains of curry eaten in celebration. A commission was established and a nation duped into poverty and consternation. The more information was exposed, the more comical the alibis, while subtle legal threats were made. Money disappeared like a magical elephant hiding in plain sight. Security dogs are threatening to bite those who raise the alarm, and our representative party's only brave act is to hang its collective head in shame. And they can't come up with one guilty name. It's a multi-billion rand shame that nobody is to blame. And up until that day, Mel, do you know anybody that's to blame?
It must be Lunga.
Don't tell everyone.
It's a pandemic.
I've got the tenders.
We must tenderize you.
Yes, I'm BEE of what did you think?
Pandemic corruption back report for free. As gevolg van die pandemic het my keel heeltemal droog geword. Mense se tye was vreeslik geaffekteer. Jy kon nie rook nie, die lug was te vars. Ek kon nie alkohol proe nie, die kantien was toe so Cyril se kabinet. Hulle vat ons vir 'n gek, 'n COVID corruption paycheck. Om ons te entertain het Cyril self 'n speeches op die TV gemaak, die beloftes oor korrupsie vasvat. Was vreeslik gatlik en belaglik en sy ministers het komediante geword. Fikile Lile is 'n treffiekop grapjas, 'n taxi statistieke lagbol en sorg altyd vir 'n vleiende razzmatazz compression jaw. Maar die meisnes minister van wyn en sigarette was sommer soos 'n ou droë drol. If you smoke, you will choke up the hospitals, use up ministerial oxygen and drink too much COVID pills. Arme Angie weet nie hoe werk education nie en opvoedkunde nie. Sy ry toe wipplank op en af en toe weer op en toe weer af. Bly heeltyd in die sop, maak los en vas reels soos 'n donkiekar wat weghol oor die klippe sonder rigting of teels. The Minister of Fashion, Shopping Spree, Family Lunches and Communication placed herself on a liquor vacation. She danced in the face of poverty, wined, dined and took a chance so everybody else spoke whatever they smoked. The Minister of Economic Development became the Minister of Fashion, dictates you may dress up but not down. You may wear this but not that kind of scrap. Presented very scientific facts about which factory lappies are corona-free and which are too quiet and which had to close and which had to vie. The man met the dance steps and groot woed. Het die land vol roadblocks laat voet. I will close your shopeen. This is not a lockdown party. Don't keep yourselves like smarties. Don't watch video games of my prancing and dancing. Don't walk on the beach. Don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't do nothing. Distance yourself from yourself with a provincial minister. Support him full-breasted against his side. And 10 security guards stood side by side in the background. He later realized that TV pics must be coordinated with his content. He then demonstrated each time how to social distance with 10 patrol traffic vehicles in convoy. The Minister of Land and Borders was investing and investigating and instigating rumors of corruption fencing. She went to look at the cigarette smuggling routes and the borders, missing fences, and made new orders. Corruption is an important small Indiana skeleton in each department's budgetary schedule for DG-directed ministerial expenditure and their connections pleasure. If discovered, you just hang your head in shame and find someone to blame. According to the official ACE position, corruptees may continue to work until found guilty by a court of law, so can always go and beg for more. The Auditor General can just voice an opinion as a little paper tiger minion. Skeletons are just bones, and European apartheid ghost. Each minister must have some small Indiana skeleton to secretly boast, just like sparry girlfriends are part of the culture, which nobody talks about until the girlfriend skeletons rattle, rave, and shout. Politics is difficult to handle, but if you know your moves, the business of corruption can be so smooth. You can get a nice sounding guy to make speeches. You just hide the gangsters and their dogs behind the departmental veneered fences. Make 400 old housing sitting farts sit and shout and insult each other aloud like real British democracy. Pay them off to be very happy and to keep the country in focus. And make a movie's a televised useless noise in green versus red versus pink versus blue hocus pocus. Then the gangster skeletons can do the job to rob the country for free.
Yeah, keep that finger snapping. Keep
Finger snapping.
Yeah,
Finger snapping.
I like that, Chris, man. I really like that.
I thank you.
Cool. Oh, you obviously wrote that this year, right?
Yes. I had to, man.
Because I heard there's a lot of...
I had to deal with my mental issues. And
absolutely.
These ministers were giving me lots and lots of mental issues to deal with.
Yeah, we channel our greatest challenges through art. Speaking of challenges, we had a few challenges this year as well. Now, we spoke about the mental health and we touched a little bit about that. But I think also a very, very, very big challenge that we all face this year as a whole globe, on top of COVID. They go and add this challenge that we've never seen coming. People just went absolutely crazy. It was the social media crash. OMG.
No one remembers
Ladies
that
and gentlemen. No, we don't want to remember. Trust me, we don't. People act like we've dealt with so much. We don't even want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about all of those things. But that was a crazy time. Eugene, are you still with us? Speaking of that thing that we're doing, the whole social media thing. How are you dealing with the social media crash?
Social media has become less important to me.
Okay.
Like, I don't think about social media. I go on Facebook, I advertise, or I post something, then I leave. Because all I see on Facebook is divorce, or people who I never thought would get engaged are getting engaged.
Yeah.
And now I'm that guy saying, you engaged? How? What did you?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. So I just kind of stay off. I remember there was a time where WhatsApp was off for like a good couple of hours.
Yes.
I didn't notice. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Wait, I think certain phones were having those problems because I think it was certain people complaining. I remember that time and I saw certain statuses and people's like, is your WhatsApp also messed up? I'm like, I'm looking at statuses here on WhatsApp, so I don't know about you. But I do believe a lot of business, because with business, a lot of things with content creation, people shifting into the digital world, you know, I think a lot of people took a crash on the serious side as well. Mel, how about you? How was that period for you?
I think that everyone was, because when you're busy WhatsApping your family, because I've got family in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and I've got family in Australia, and so not lovely, we can't see them. So we got to, and we certainly couldn't see them this year because they weren't allowed to come into South Africa. We're like, oh, we got Omicron. Oh, so Africa's got Omicron. No, guys, everybody's got Omicron. Come on now. So when WhatsApp went down, everybody went to Facebook. And then Facebook was down, and then everybody went to Instagram. Yeah. And then Instagram was down. And Twitter was very famous for a little while. Twitter went crazy. And then that was for about 6-8 hours. And then no one remembered that it happened. It was like the biggest problem in the youth's world at that moment.
Telegram got so many new people. Telegram it's still a thing.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a Telegram still, and then people were still like, oh, let's get onto Telegram, and I was like, I deleted that like 2 years ago, guys. But people went crazy. People went mad. My son is 24 years old, and he was on Discord, and he didn't even know anything was going on because that's how they were chatting. But there were other people. The millennials were going mad. They were like, how do we communicate now? So
we was going to see my videos.
No, he's going to see my TikTok stuff. And so it was mad, and then it was fine, and now we forgot about it. That happened this year, guys, for those of you. I know that some of you still have PTSD about it. That happened this year.
Maar hulle het nie groot geword met die radio nie. Ons het na die radio geluister, die 4 o'clock story, die Vrydag aand.
No, don't look at him. No, wait, Chris, don't look at Lunga. Lunga didn't listen to the radio. Me.
We had to
police squad.
Ja, sy gaan kyk 'n movie, as die movie uitkom, as sy sê, daai roekie, daai so geskiet my broer, en hy so gekap en so en het sy gesien, daai karate move wat hy gemaak,
I really can't picture you doing that.
What I'm basically saying is we had to be creative. We had to tell stories ourselves. We had to listen. We had to imagine things that we heard of the radio. And so we had to create the picture in our minds. And I think it's a mindset kind of crisis. You know, the media hopping kind of need and so on. You know, if this media doesn't work, I must hop to. But what is the creativity other than the what's a millennial?
You might be some of the kids. Just say the kids.
Yeah, these like this, you know.
Yeah.
Children of today.
Yeah, children of today. What do they think?
Nothing makes you sound old more than saying the
what
children
do they
of
create?
Today. It's all I'm saying,
What is creative, Vanilla?
Chris, as Jay say, the children of today, then all the children is going wordy, man.
Yeah.
You just added 20 years to your life.
Can I answer the question, what are they creating today?
Yes.
The most boring TikTok videos I've ever seen in my life. They're so boring.
It's not just the young people, Eugene. Old people are doing it. Their parents are on TikTok as well.
I'm just putting
it's all boring to me. It's boring.
The most boring statement is, I'm just putting it out there. For wie, for wat, en for who, en wie moet het kyk.
Thank you.
Trust me, guys. It's a completely different world, and somehow it works for these people. So yeah.
But no one wants to watch your mother doing a dance or in her underwear. Come now, guys.
Well, you'll be surprised. Oh, okay, that's. I was like, you'll be surprised. I've seen. Well, I was like, whoa, wait, underwear.
Wait.
You did not say underwear.
I did say underwear. You just didn't.
Yeah. No, that's why my mind is saying you did not say it, but actually, I heard it. Listen, another thing that went down are so many businesses. A lot of businesses crashed this year, and there's lots of difficulty. Yeah. What do you guys think? Are businesses coming back, or you think it's time for new?
I think that it's a real struggle. I know of a few people who've had to close restaurants who actually could not, because even when they said it's fine, we can open the restaurants now, they had to open at 50% capacity, which wasn't going to make up for the loss. They still had loans to pay. They still had salaries to pay. So they still had expenses that weren't being covered during the full-on lockdown. and coming back at like 50% capacity or percentage of the capacity wasn't making up for that, so those businesses had to close. And I think that the positive spin on that is that people have reinvented themselves. People have gotten creative with their own talents, with their own businesses, with their own branding. People have gotten, you couldn't become complacent. This was, if anything, this was the year of non-complacency. You had to find a way to dig yourself out of whatever hole you were in, whether it was business, whether it was financial, whether it was emotional, whether it was spiritual, whether it was mental. You had to dig yourself out of a hole, or you had to find someone to help you dig you out of that hole. And so you couldn't be complacent, and you had to become creative. And I think I applaud every single human being who's gotten out of, even if it was hard to get out of bed some days and you got out of bed, I applaud you, because I know that there were struggles going on that no one has spoken about. So
absolutely.
Big high fives to you, and super cheers.
I love that what you said, because us as humans, we're known for evolving, throw any kind of situation at us. If you're living in a cold place, we're going to learn how to create warmer clothing so that we can survive in that, You're living in places where food is not easy to reach, we're going to learn how to hunt or make our own food, So I think that ties in with the whole Great Awakening thing, that we have all of those challenges and all of those things that we spoke of, the generational curses and communication in the family. All of those things are coming to an end now, and we are evolving. And like you said, and also to add with the businesses and all of those things, they came back and they tried to like be above water. So some of they hiked their prices up, because I remember going on a date, I used to pay less than 500 rand. Now I'm paying
Must
almost
be nice to go on a date,
1,000 rand. I'm paying for almost 1,000 rand on a date, guys. Love is expensive.
That's why I'm single.
And the cost of living is just going up.
How many
and
dates
high.
do you have a month?
Dude, one every 2 months.
Every 6 months.
Picnics are very good.
We do the beach now.
Outdoors
All of a
play.
sudden, we like nature. We like walking. And so,
walking,
we
also by hiking.
ice cream. Eat at home and then I'll meet you at
I bring you popcorn
We
from
share the
home.
Uber,
Yeah,
we
popcorn
share
is
the-
cheap.
A Gatsby. You must have try a Gatsby. At Lone Fisheries, my bro. Sy kry vir jou 'n lekker Gatsby daarso en 'n cool drink langs aan by die butchery. Hulle actually lekker en bossies daai kant. And then you go on your picnic. Yes.
Dude, look, it's like I said, the cost of living has gone crazy. You guys have a lot of responsibilities. I'm still living with my parents, so I just rent a room. But you guys know what it's like to take on a lot more responsibility with the cost of living and the jobs going down. Mel, you're a full-time entertainer. It's not like you're working in another place where you earning a salary and then you can I can depend on that. So you basically depend on your craft and your art, know. And it's been very dodgy. You've been actually doing quite well this year, I must say. But it's quite dodgy, So is there any advice for some people who don't know how to deal with this time with the cost of living going up? I don't know, anyone, but Mel, I believe that, like you said, you've been on both sides, How did you deal with all of this craziness?
How do you become a famous comedian, TV artist?
Well, it's really
it's
so hard to be so good, guys. It's very it's hard to be this good looking and this talented and this intelligent and this articulate. It's just hard. But this year it seems to have paid off.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. I think that initially when everything went online, there was this huge hesitation for people to take that leap.
Yes.
Because it's different, especially for comedy. You don't want to be talking to your laptop. You don't want to be talking to a screen. There's no interaction. There's a different energy. There's very little energy, to be fair. But if you don't, it comes back to reinvention. It comes back to changing your thinking. It comes back to thinking outside of the box. If you don't find some other source, you got to let go of what you're used to. What you're used to isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
So you've got to find a new way to create your if you love making people laugh and you want to keep doing that, you've got to find a different way to do it. And it's as simple as that. I've had to embrace the online phase. I've had to embrace many different. I've done some things on social media that I've not done before. Like I started doing live things on which I wasn't comfortable with at first, but I embraced it and I started enjoying it because then people started coming regularly and watching, and then we were this little group of people who just enjoyed hanging out on a Monday night on Facebook Live. And so that became a thing I developed it to get over some sort of anxiety and some sort of mental health issues that I felt people were dealing with, and then it just developed into this source of joy for myself and for the people who were there. And then I almost felt like if I couldn't do it, I was letting them down, but I was also letting myself down because I always felt better after doing it. Always.
So it seemed as if people must find the talent within the kind of situation that they are
You've
in.
gotta think outside the box. You gotta do things differently.
Yeah.
If you want to keep doing what you're doing, you've got to do it differently. Sometimes you've got to write it. Sometimes, because I've done that as well. I did this as well this year.
Yeah.
I went to go and write for a TV show.
Wow.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I didn't know that I was going to be enjoying it that much. I didn't know that I was going to be able to do it.
Het is stuk al gespeel, wat die naam van die stuk?
Klaar. But, actually.
Wat is die stuk zijn naam?
It's not a stick. It's not a stick. It's comedy mixtape. It's comedy mixtape.
Oh, yeah, comedy mix. Oh, yes.
Comedy mixtape.
Wow.
Yes, I wrote some of the sketches for those, which was really, and I wrote all the parodies that I didn't know. Yes, parodies. I did the parodies. Some of the parodies that played at the end of the show, I did those. And I thoroughly enjoyed that, which I didn't think I would as much. So much so that I'd love to do it again. But this is where you find a way to use your creative outlet if you want to do it. Because if you don't, I remember the first year in 2020 when all of this hit, when I wasn't able to express myself creatively, it was very depressing. So you have to find a way to get, there's something that you love doing, you've got to keep doing it because it's the source of joy, guys. You've got to find a way to bring yourself some joy.
Yeah, no, absolutely true. All right, guys. So we got to wrap that section up. We're speaking about the challenges. I want to go into one more thing, but right about now, we're going to take a music break, and we also have to pay the bills. And for those of you just tuned in, you are tuned into the Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio. I am Lunga Chuka, the Energizer Funny.
When you wonder if the sky will fall and your head can stop spinning around, when everything is tumbling down and you're scared, don't be afraid, just get up and dance. But don't get started just before the light. Be strong, be brave. Together we will rise, and we will rise.
out there feeling that you missed your chance at getting a higher education? There's still time. Make 2022 your year and grab the chance. Whether you're after a degree or a higher certificate, Cornerstone Institute offers an extensive range of programs from psychology and business to community development and education. With so many options, your future couldn't be brighter. Applications are now open, so visit cornerstone.ac.za today to enroll. Your future starts at Cornerstone.
All right, ladies and gents. So if you just joined, you heard it. It's Cornerstone. We're doing the critical dialogue with Bush Radio. My name is Lunga Chika, the Energizer Funny. I'm your stand-in host for Mr. Ryan Fortune. I have beautiful people with me here today, and I also have a very, very beautiful guest calling in today. We've been speaking everything 2021 in review. We had some interesting topics. We spoke about some conspiracy theories. We spoke about the zombie apocalypse, Great Awakening, things crashing, mental health, all of those other things, you know. And I just would like to host back, let's do a link of those songs that you heard. So the first song that you heard, ladies and gents, that was Costa Titch with Big Flexer. And the song that you just heard now was on the Ndlovu Youth Choir with We Will Rise. All right, ladies and gents, we'll continue our conversation. We have some juicy more things to talk about. First of all, another icon, we actually lost an icon not too long ago, Mr. Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. For the millennials and for the new people, they're always like, who is this guy that everyone is so crazy about, you know? We heard that he's from the struggles, but please, Chris, I believe that you have a very, very good version of this man. So can you enlighten us on who Arch Desmond Tutu is or was?
Grew up in the Protestant community, in the Protestant church, and so I, as a youth, I've had to go to church, and, you know,
absolutely,
Sunday school and so on. But I met the Arch during the struggle period as a student, when he used to come to address us at the university. At marches, he would lead at those protest marches often and protect us from the police. In our youth group in Q-Town, we met the Arch at the St. George's Church one day, and it was such an enlightening experience to meet the Arch because of his friendliness, his fearlessness, his outspokenness in relation to the truth, his spirituality, his practicality as well, and the fact that he can communicate at all levels.
Yes.
Whether you are a youth or a street person or a highly educated priest or an imam or anybody, the Arch will welcome you with open arms, and he will embrace your understanding with his understanding of religion, and he will seek that compromise, he will seek that unity, often in a very, very jovial manner. He will convince you in relation to that kind of spirituality. So for me, it was a very real kind of issue. I, in fact, had a bursary sponsored by the Desmond Tutu Trust.
Wow.
So I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate the spirituality in the sense that the Arch would organize other denominations and be interactive,
bring people together,
and share and bring people together from various denominational backgrounds, various political backgrounds, and be truthful about our reality. And for me, that is very important, and would not always care about his own safety when confronting the police. There were often situations, I've read a friend talk about how the police would confront a mass march, and the Arch would come forward, and he would calm our students, and he would pray in front of the cops, and he would also bless the enemy as well, you know. And he would calm the situation, you know. And if there was a crisis, he would support within the crisis by being a compassionate priest by being a compassionate supporter and so on.
Yes.
And in that very, very practical way. In another way, for myself and our youth in the Cape Youth Congress, our wall, the Early Learning Center, was bombed in 1988.
Wow.
And as part of the Truth Commission, that issue was a very serious issue. And so we had to appear before the Truth Commission to confront those who bombed our community center. And in that way, I could see the Arch again in a very, very compassionate manner, supporting the victims in a real way, supporting our communities and so on, and really, really attempting from his heart to unite South Africa, to unite people across the spectrum in a real way. Many people criticize the Truth Commission for not having achieved all its objectives, but I think that if it wasn't for the Arch, we would not have had a peaceful transition in this particular way. For people like the Arch, people like his spirit, like his leading kind of light. So I think for me that, so I can call up a number of events like the big major march we had in Cape Town where the Arch led and so on, where there were thousands of people. Just imagine a march where the streets from District 6 right through to Parliament is covered with one mass and throng of people. And the Arch leading such a march, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people covering the whole of the city of Cape Town. And the Arch would be there to lead the people, to guide the people, and be the moral compass of our people in that sense. And so it is sad that that he has passed on. But I'm glad for people like Teresa Solomon, who declared as a mayor that the freedom of the city must be given to the Arch, and that we could march on his birthday. And I so would like that we continue to celebrate the spirit of the Arch going forward, and that the kind of unity that he was organizing, that he was mentoring amongst priests, amongst communities, amongst people, that spirit of the Arch continues. Often he was very light-hearted about himself, about life, but he always brought across a very, very serious message of hope, of life, and of unity. So on that note, the purple people shall govern. And the color purple was one of the events. When we protested, we were sprayed with purple dye, and at around the area of between the Methodist Church and St. George's and around the court, everybody was just sprayed by the police during one march and so on. And so also the color of the Arch, one of the spiritual colors, is purple. And so it is befitting that our mountain, our City Hall is now lighted up in the color purple to represent the peace, the hope that the Arch represents. So thank you very, very much to the Arch and his family and the Anglican Church for having spared the Arch to us for such a long time and being such a good guide to South Africa and our moral compass for our political leaders. And may the spirit of the Arch always live with us forever.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. May he rest in peace and his soul rise gracefully. Mel Jones, I believe that you also want to touch on another iconic star that we lost this year, you know, and it was really, really a sad moment for South Africa, you know, because we grew up with most of these artists that we see today, and they've influenced our lives in so many ways. So Mel, could you please enlighten us of who are the amazing people that we lost this year?
I think I would like to just use this moment to dedicate to Charlene Suti Richards, our iconic actress, writer, performer. She was not only an incredible person on stage, on camera, but she was also an incredible person behind the scenes, and a huge advocate for women of color to hold space.
Yes.
Because coming from a background where women, in particular, on the Cape Flats, aren't taught to feel that they are very worthy, aren't taught to take up space, aren't taught that they are valued, that they are important members of society. Here was this woman who used her voice, used her fame to speak to young girls, to not only demonstrate with her word, but also with her actions, what it is like to be a person, take up space, own that space, and feel that you are worthy of that space. Because a lot of women in the communities still today grow up without feeling like they deserve to be there. Because I think that a girl child, by her mere birth, in some cultures, boys are still celebrated more than girls. So by your mere birth, you are taught to feel undervalued. And here was this woman who was this bright shining star, who was incredibly funny, who was incredibly talented, who personified a role with such depth, with such immense talent. And then she was also using that voice to say, you belong here. Don't be afraid to feel like you belong here. Don't be afraid to take the risks and shine your light in a way that is going to make you feel proud, make your ancestors feel proud, make your children who come after you feel proud, make your fellow sisters in your community feel proud. She was not afraid to say whatever she wanted to say in whatever way she wanted to say it. And sometimes it came across as some people as like, oh my God, it's such a shock. No. She wanted to say it the way she wanted to say it, and sometimes she felt that was the only way that it was going to be heard. So there was method to her madness. She was a beautiful human being. She was incredible. She was a national treasure.
Yes, very true.
And she was not only an incredible talent and a wonderful human being, but she was also just a joy to be around. Just being around her, you felt like you were in a good space. So she will be dearly missed. And we would love to send our condolences to the families and to the friends of Charlene Suti Richards, and to anyone who's met her. We know that we have suffered a great loss.
Yes. Wow. It's not easy to lose legends, but the great thing about it is that we can always remember the amazing work that they've done, and even the interactions that we had. Like you said, she's not just amazing in the craft, just as a being. She lights up the room. Even if you didn't know who she was, if you crossed path with her and you had a conversation, or she just helped you out with something, you would leave remembering that person. You say, well, that's a lovely person, eh? And then afterwards you find out that it's just an amazing being.
Nena. People still today call her Nena.
Yeah.
And she used to get so irritated. Ek gaan 'n foto van my vat met jou wat jy vir my Nena sê nie. Jy moet vir my sê Charlene, Auntie Charlene.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Mel, you spoke about something very interesting earlier on. You mentioned that how you done a lot of transformation. You started doing things that you weren't used to, things out of the box. And like you said, it was important. It's an important time for us to transform. So I also did a little bit of transforming. I actually started my own NPO called SOC. Yeah, it means Save Our Children South Africa. Okay. I started that, and also I did an online acting course.
Oh.
Yes, I got distinction. Also, I did a public speaking online course as well, and some vocal training. So I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, I do beg your pardon, sir.
They taught me how to articulate and use all my T's and complete my words. So I did a lot of transforming. I also know a couple of friends of mine that started their own businesses. My opposite neighbor, he decided, what, I'm actually good at food. And he was actually struggling to get a job and keeping a job. But now he started doing his own food, and nobody's judging him, because you don't have to be a criminal or whatever, you can be whoever you are. Right. So he's doing food, and he's doing absolutely well. He's getting sold out on weekends and stuff. So a lot of small businesses have popped up and things like that. Mel, Mel, you've actually shared a little bit. So I just want to jump on to Eugene, just to give him a little bit of life. Eugene, are you still there?
I'm just, yeah,
Can
my
you share
battery
some of
down,
your-
listen to you guys? You guys
Charge
are
your
good.
phone,
This is
man.
a
Don't
great
be
show,
so-
actually.
Lakana, we wish you were here. I'm gonna act like those people there. Wish you were here. I'm standing with a sign.
But
You should be
Eugene,
here.
can I just a little shout out to Eugene?
Yes.
Because Eugene did the responsible thing. He wasn't feeling
Absolutely.
very well, and he thought, let me not put anyone at risk. So he decided that he was going to do this interview via the telephone.
Yes.
So his presence is here, even though it's
Absolutely.
not
Yeah.
physically. So thank you,
Yeah,
Eugene.
I woke up sweaty, and that's not something I do. I normally go to sleep sweaty, but we're not talking about
Hey,
that now,
hey,
are
hey.
we? So I decided let's rather be safe and just see how I feel tomorrow, and if I don't feel any better, then I'm going to have to go for the test. For the first time, I'm going to have my nose seen
Violated.
Yeah. Look, do you prefer the nose one? I personally prefer when they do the test in the throat. I don't like the nose thing.
You don't
I've
get the
done
choice anymore, guys.
Is it?
Yeah, they do both.
Yeah, my friend. Okay, stay at home. But Eugene,
Yeah,
please tell us
I'm
about
staying
your
at home.
transformation. Tell us about your transformation that 2021 kind of like made you do, you know?
So I've been a stand-up comedian for the last 11 years, and I've made all of my money from being an MC and a stand-up comedian. That's it. And then 2020 came along, and it taught me that I need to diversify my income, and I need to be better about the opportunities that come my way. So I have done acting. I had to act. I hate it. I've always wanted to become an actor, but I hate being an actor.
It's tough work. It's tough work. Art, that's the thing about art. It's not a joke.
It all came to this one scene where I killed that to be really emotional. I was wearing a small piece of underwear. I'm emotional. I'm vulnerable. But I killed that scene. And then the director said, cut. Okay, let's take it from this angle. So they moved the cameras around, and I had to do that same scene again as hectically as I just did it. And I'm like, that's a once-off performance. I got this again. Maybe y'all need to buy more cameras than me do this whole thing over and over again. It's a lot of the same things. So
Charlize Theron had to do Monster over and over and over again. If Charlize can do it, so can you, Eugene.
Charlize and I are on two completely different levels. It's something that she enjoys. It's something that I really do not enjoy. I did not enjoy it. Thanks for the money, though. The money was fantastic. But no, it's something that I don't like. Whereas I was approached to become a driving instructor, which is something I've been doing for the last 20 years or so. And that is something that I really, really, really love doing. I love being a driving instructor almost as much as I love performing on stage, which is saying a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, I had to diversify my forms of income. My business is now officially registered. I registered myself as a business because I've also come to realize that us as entertainers, we need to also be better about running our careers like it's a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. A lot of us took that shift. Entrepreneurs up in here.
Yeah, we need to pay our taxes and claim our monies back and let the business pay our rent because we are the business, so our rent must be paid by the business. It's a whole thing. So, I've taken on more opportunities. The whole online comedy space is one that I am not a fan of at all. But then I was invited to perform at the Utrecht International Comedy Festival because they had a whole pride lineup, different LGBTQ comedians from all over the world. And I did it from home, and it wasn't as terrible as I thought it would be. Yes, I was talking to my phone, looking at nobody in particular, but it was a Zoom call, but me telling my stage material to the Zoom call.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'd like to add to that because I was someone who's been avoiding the online. I even spoke to Mel about it, and she's like, just do it, man, just do it.
Don't even sound like that.
And like I've been avoiding it for the longest time, and I think my first online gig was actually with Mel, and we had Barry Hilton. He actually booked me for the gig. Stuart Taylor got his whole setup, and then
your name dropping or anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how do you start up? Mel, how do you start the engine moving?
You must put petrol in it first.
And mayonnaise.
But I must say, like once I did it, I have to agree with you, Eugene. It was like, what was I running from? I did another online MC gig where I had to like host. It was a very important gig. It was a corporate gig, and I'm the main host here, but I'm at home, and everyone's obviously tuning in from all of their places. And there was a segment where I had to do comedy, and I was so nervous about this, thinking, the connection, the energy, and all of that. And I just told him, look, guys, I want to see those smiling emojis. If you show me that, I know I'm doing well. But what I appreciated is that it gave me so much arms and space to use my body a lot more. And I'm someone who's a very physical comedian. Like I use everything on stage, and I felt like even just without having the mic in your hand and like talking to a camera, it actually gave me space to be more animated and like explore more of my physicality. So there was a bit of appreciation also in that. So yeah.
Okay, I hear what you're saying now, but when you got on stage in front of a live audience, how was that? How was that first time back on stage?
Going back on stage. I ate it up. I couldn't wait. Yes, I was a bit nervous and everything because I was like, I forgot this feeling, I forgot the space, the nervous space and everything. I forgot all of that. I was like, oh yeah, this feeling now. Oh yeah, the people now. Oh yeah, why did I wish for this? But once you get into it and you get that first laugh, it just comes back to you and you're like, oh, I miss this so much. So yeah, but we don't want to speak a little too much about comedy. Chris, can you please tell us, give us a different perspective? What changes, what transformations did you go through?
Can I first read a poem for Nena?
For Nena?
Yeah, goodbye, Nena.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got
but
one
now I was warned not to say certain words.
Oh yeah, please don't.
This is a very family show.
So
please do not say any bad words on the Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio. Thank you very much.
Before I start? Okay, goodbye. Liewe aarde, Nena, laat jy ons nou so hartseer laat. Jou kinders van Normer Road, Primary Welwit, is dit regtig waar dat jy so sukkel met inkomste en suffer met jou gesondheid sonder kos, huis en medical aid. Die vetvarkskelms vriet nou die ates en die COVID geld. Jy is dan so multi-talented, reward-winning helden van die koptoekies, vetcake aunties, skinnebekke en gejoeste hare fancies, die bekkige lady chommy van die movie hairdresser. Jy's aan my neighbor, my kwai auntie, the life of the party, the prize-winning actress on every national stage. Jy kan mos nie net so skielik tawaaf en ons verlaat hier. Hoe gaat ons nou suspiciously en gatvol kyk na die TV-stukke as jy nie in die movie is nie? En daar speel 'n ander flou mens met jou rol as soul auntie. Nee man, ek is die man kwaad. Hopelessly sonder raad laat die hele industrie en die government jou so in die stiek laat. As hulle randas om die aate so lelik met flou poep excuses te drop, iemand moet vernati onder sy gatskop man. I thank you.
Can we just add a disclaimer for the words? These were the thoughts and expressions of Chris Ferndale and not of Bush Radio.
Absolutely. That was not in our script.
That was not in our
Sorry,
script.
I didn't know we could say the J word.
Hey, we can't.
We can't.
Guys, I apologize on my behalf, but Nena het het klaar op die TV gesê, so I thought I could quote her.
Guys, we just met today. He did not come with me. I'm just letting you know. We're not on Facebook together.
I'm leaving the house.
We are not on Facebook together.
I've seen him perform. Rochelle kissed to say hello. She sends a love.
Hey. Yes, guys, we're still waiting for those WhatsApp guys to tune in with us. Mel, do you quickly want to wrap up? What was your transformation this year?
I think that it's more a case of little bits at a time because it wasn't a big transformation. I also did an online writing course, and I think it was more a case of going outside of your comfort zone because good things happen outside of your comfort zone, but the fear keeps you there, and the fear is going to be debilitating. So if you can get rid of that fear, it's like with your, what is my fear of being online? And once you've overcome that fear, you realize that it's not so bad. Absolutely. And that is the main issue with fear. It keeps you where you are comfortable. It keeps you in a space where there's no growth. So there's growth outside of your comfort zone. And I think that is where any transformation, it's not a personal transformation to kind of bring people hope. It's more a case of finding what you're scared of, overcoming that fear and moving past it. And then that's where you grow outside of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. I love that. And we're going to wrap up that segment over there. But we just, not just yet. We got still a little to talk about. All right, we're going to keep going. So, apologies, I was just reading the signals a little bit wrong. It's my first time doing, what you call that? What's pom-pom girls?
Do you want me to do some charades for you? Then you can practice.
What is this?
If I do charades, sounds
2 years.
like a movie song.
2 words. Well, I love that, and it also speaks about what you said, it's either the fear keeps you stagnant, and complacent, and you don't grow. And growth is on the other side of fear, So it's very, very important for us to face our fears because, like you said, like I said also earlier on, it was something that I was fearing, and I thought I'm going to do terrible, but I never knew that I'm actually going to grow. I never knew that I'm actually going to express myself in a different way and experience other things. So that's pretty cool. Do you guys know of any friends or any family members that has had some serious transformation where you're like, wow, look at you, Do you know of any people like that?
Can I give one?
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a friend who worked in the call center industry for many, many years, and then COVID happened, and then he couldn't work anymore, and then he was struggling to get a job, and then he started a car wash from his home.
Wow.
And this man is the happiest person because every day he gets to wash a car. He speaks to the owner about cars. He's a big, big car nut, and he's always wanted to do something car adjacent. And now he has a rather successful car wash from his house, and it's pretty cool. He's so happy now that all the stress that he was having all the years from working in call center, because it is a stressful industry, gone. He's just washing cars and he's the happiest. He's happy like a pig in mud.
I think this year, one of the biggest transformations that I've seen is Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. They just moved right out of the... How do you transform from a prince to a not prince? It's supposed to work the other way around.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you kiss the frog and then it becomes a prince. You don't kiss the prince and then it becomes a frog.
Where are they
But
living now?
Harry wasn't one that wanted that life. He wasn't so keen about it. So, I mean,
That's
he
why
was
he married a
probably
brown
waiting
girl.
for this colored lady to take him out of there.
Yeah, he went through some heavy
So
transformations,
this
that guy.
proof, guys, that if you want to be saved, find yourself a brown girl.
Absolutely. If you want to be saved from, I don't know who.
And if her name just happens to be Mel, don't run.
Come, she will embrace you.
It's so crazy. I mean, like I spoke about a lot of small businesses on the rise. Chris, do you know of any people that you know that have kind of transformed their lives in this pandemic?
I know of quite a number of people. Just this week, I heard of a lady by the name of Carlota. She was a chef at a restaurant and she lost her job, and she also decided to cook from home, and over the past 2 weeks she made 10,000 rand.
Wow.
By selling food.
Don't
and
say
having
that
it
now. The
delivered.
family's going to say, die vrou skuld my geld. Sy het gesê, sy gaan my geld betaal.
Yeah.
Moenie sê hoeveel het
No,
hy
but
gemaak het.
it can happen. It can happen. We can be positive. We can change. We can transform. And there are the possibilities. It's not about the money. It's about being happy and developing your talent and being creative in the best way you can be, and starting off at that particular point with your talent, but always seeking the creativity within yourself and the potential you. Soek that potential wat in you is.
Actually, can I just give a shout out to South Africans, because they've become more keen to support the next person in their business endeavor, as opposed to, what's he trying? I'm going to pick and pay. No. Help your fellow man, help your friend out, have a little party to celebrate their new business and introduce new clients to their business. I think that's a wonderful thing to do.
A lot of people were doing it, and like you said also, and you've been seeing, and like Chris mentioned earlier on, some communities have been coming together doing food drives and that kind of thing. That's also a huge transformation. People are working together now, and
people are sharing.
Absolutely, and I think it's all part of this great awakening vibe that we were just talking about. It's just so lovely to see people come together, and you're like, so much good things are happening.
And let us not forget those major transformations that people have been making during COVID by eating and gaining so much weight. That is also a big old physical transformation.
How was that? The COVID weight, eh?
Own it. Own every
the COVID
curve.
weight.
That is a whole other
I was like, guys, but like, this is the thing. The people that weren't even working.
Where did they get the money to eat?
The thing is, I understand. understand, like,
Okay.
understand if you used to work out and the gym closed and all of that, and then you picked up a bit of weight. There's people who never used to work out; they used to just like live normally, you know. But they picked up. I'm like, wait, guy, what did you do different this time? It's not like you stopped going to the gym, you know. What did you do different this time?
Stop eating that kale.
Okay, I will now tell you what I did.
Yeah.
I lost my job
Mhm.
and I was very depressed. So I drove through the industrial area, daar in Kenilworth and so on. And I picked up a pallet. Toen maak ek 'n boksie. And I put it on the Facebook and I say, Mr. Kyk wat 'n kwaai plant boksie het ek vir my gemaak. Ek gaan vir my 'n plantjie plant. So someone asked me, hoeveel kos die box? So I said, no, it cost me net 180. So I sold the box for 180 rand. And then they followed the other boxes. And so I survived for the year with making plant boxes.
amazing.
And
So met 'n
planting
lekker stuk
plantjies.
doos business.
The box in Afrikaans. That is the box in
Dit
Afrikaans.
mos nou, dit was mos 'n
Ja,
Afrikaanse
toe is ek nou so lekker bedrywig met my plankie werk en so aan en so aan, ja.
Another thing that stood out for me this year, which I particularly like as well, is a lot of people speaking about self-love. Self-love journey, self-love this, self-love that, you know. And they speak of it as a 360 kind of practice, you know. It's not just like buy what you like or listen to what you, or speak to people that you want to speak to. It goes into what you're eating, it goes into your exercise, it goes into you taking some time out for yourself, it goes in for you to rest. And let me be honest
about
with
you
you.
getting out of that relationship with that man.
That
that's treating you
true.
right.
That true. Let me be honest with you. That's also something I've always thought like, I love self. I am self-love, you know, self-love. I know myself. But I only started saying I love you to myself probably like this year. I took myself out on a date once before and it was weird. At first I wanted to be on my phone because I was like, I'm sitting here and I was like, no, do not stretch yourself, indulge yourself. And I was like, I'm here and I'm taking myself on a date. This is a place that I like. I'm going to order what I want and I'm just going to enjoy myself. That is a practice that I loved and I enjoyed and I only did it once.
Did you take your mirror with you?
No. No, I took selfies. I took selfies.
Oh,
so.
not your mirror.
Self-love, not selfie love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, in your perspective, have you done any self-love, you know, as a form of self-transformation? And what are the type of things that you did?
You want me to answer that?
Go
question?
ahead, Eugene.
Go
Tell
ahead,
us.
go
Tell
ahead.
us. But BPCA, the children listening.
Yes, please, eh?
Are
We need to
children
self-love the
listening?
kids as well.
Okay. Look, I've always been a loner. Because, you know, it was more for alleen most of my life.
Are you gay, Eugene?
Oh, my word, I could never tell.
You know, I sometimes feel like I'm not gay enough. I think I need to amp it up next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine that? So good grief.
Mince.
Yeah, I look like Mary's scary sister. Anyway, so, yeah, I've always taken myself out to the movies and all of those things, and then I started becoming, can I say, popular, well-known? I don't know what the word is, but I started making friends, and then everything had to be a codependentness. But then, as of last year sometime, I started doing that again, taking a book, going alone to the beach, sitting on the beach, reading it, you know, when the beach was eventually opened. Those things, those little things. Taking the dog for a walk, but like a far walk, and then you come back and the dog's dehydrated. Just that, spending more time with yourself, but in a, not because you're forced to be alone, because you choose to spend that alone time with yourself. Very important.
Very, very important. Thank you so much, Eugene. And we're going to take a short music break right about now. We need to breathe. There was a lot of lovely information that we got on there. Mel, when we get back, we want to touch on your self-love tips, and then we are going to go straight into some gratitude. We're going to speak about what we're grateful about, and we'll end the show on a very light note. For those of you that just tuned in, you are tuned into the Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio with Lunga Chuka, the Energizer Funny, and there's amazing people in studio. Thank you for tuning in. We are still waiting for you on those WhatsApp lines. But for now, let's pay the bills.
Sometimes alone in the evening, I look outside my window at the shadows in the night. I hear the sound darkness multiplying and weary hearts denied. All I feel is my heartbeat beating like a drum, beating with confusion. All I hear are the voices telling me to go, but I could never run. 'Cause in my African dream, there's a new tomorrow. My African dream is a dream that we can follow. Now when the night begins to fall, I listen for your call, I listen for your heartbeat. Alone my dream is just a dream, another false illusion, a shadow in the night. All I want is for our hearts to be beating just as one, to silence the confusion. Then the pain
Community Champions is a new show on Bush Radio every Thursday at 9 p.m. Cornerstone Institute CEO Noel Daniels is the host and chats with various community champions about their life, their work, their struggles, and the music that inspires them to keep fighting for a better world. Conversational and laced with humor, the show is part of a new collaboration between Bush Radio and Cornerstone Institute, a private institute of higher learning in Cape Town, offering a range of on-campus and online programs in community development, psychology, business, and much more. If you're looking for inspiration on how to change the world, tune in to Community Champions on Bush Radio 89.5 FM with Cornerstone CEO Noel Daniels every Thursday at 9 p.m.
And that was Vicky Sampson with My African Dream. That's the song, not the ad that you heard just now. That's another dude. I don't know that guy. But that was Vicky Sampson with My African Dream. And like I said, guys, if you just tuned in now, you're tuned into the Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio with myself, Lunga Chuka, the Energizer Funny, and the beautiful people that I have with me in studio. And also a lovely, beautiful person calling in. We have Mel Jones in studio, and we have Mr. Chris Fender and Eugene Matthews calling in. Just a few minutes ago, we were speaking about self-love, and I believe Mel has something really, really beautiful, a very beautiful message about self-love, which is actually very, very important. So, Mel, I'm going to hand it over to you, and please enlighten us.
I just wanted to say that self-love isn't always pretty. Self-love isn't always that thing of a bubble bath and a glass of bubbly and taking yourself out to dinner and taking yourself on a date. Self-love can start there, but self-love is sometimes dark and gritty, and sometimes you have to deal with traumas from your past, childhood traumas from past relationships. Sometimes you have to deal with that in order to move on. In order to love yourself, you have to get rid of the things that made you hate yourself. So sometimes you go back to that bully at school that treated you so badly, and you change the narrative around that, or you go back to that first relationship where someone treated you awfully, or cheated on you, or didn't respect you, and you change that narrative. And that is sometimes what self-love is. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's so important to find the things that made you hate yourself so that you can reverse that, turn it around, make the transformation, and then learn to love yourself with a new narrative.
I think the
Can I add something to that, please?
Yes, you can.
One day I had I won't say an altercation, but I was having words with somebody, and I said these words, and it completely it was me being profound. Me forgiving you has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely
So
that.
I had to come to this point where I had to let go of whatever I had going on in my head against this person. And I came to realize that a big part of us and a big part of life is forgiveness. And this is something that we've learned from the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Forgiveness, there's so much power in that, and there's so much healing in that, and we should be doing more of it.
Yeah.
I like the word that you just said now, because I was going to wrap up that whole self-love lesson with one word and say healing.
Yeah.
Healing is what we do. Healing is what we need. Is what we need as individuals. Is what we need in our families. Is what we need with our friendships. Is what we need as a whole nation. So I think we should all just go on a self-love journey. Everyone in 2022 will be on a self-love journey because I said so.
And it starts with a bubble bath.
And telling yourself I love you and taking yourself on a date. And looking at all of those traumas, because we were taught to run away from these things and shy away from them. And then our childhood traumas, a lot of that comes up in our adult life, and it comes up as bad behavior. It comes out as bad relationships. It comes out as bad communication. It comes up as so many negative things. And at the end of the day, you take a step back and you're like, I've been self-sabotaging myself this whole time, and then we start to look for ways of healing. And there are so many interesting ways of healing, like Mel just mentioned. There is spending time with yourself. Like I said, words of affirmation to yourself, saying these things to yourself, taking yourself out on a date, also dealing with your traumas and that kind of thing. But sometimes there are also other ways that you could get your healing, like there are social workers that you can go to for, and you can speak about this, having a friend that you want to share it with, and it's not always costing money to reach out to social workers. Some of them do it pro bono, and they work with donations, know. Then there's
sometimes letting go of that relationship, whether it be a person that you're intimate with, or even if it's a relative, letting go.
Yep. Yes, people. I've even learned that, you know, like with the whole cutting off being, you're like, no, but that's my family, or no, that we grew up together.
Even
you know?
if they make lekker trifle, you must let go. You must let go.
Let go of toxicity, no matter what form it comes in. Best friend, family, co-worker, boss. If it's toxic, it's not good for you. It's just going to bring you down to all sorts of depression, and you'll start questioning yourself of other things that you cannot actually control. So yeah, healing. And like I said, there's therapy, there's hypnotherapy, there's so many things that you could look into that goes inside with self-healing. Like we said, it's a 360 thing. It's not just it's not just physical, it's spiritual and mental as well. But right about now, like I said, we want to end the show off with some lightheartedness, some things that really stood out for us, because it wasn't all bad. It wasn't like a terrible year. A lot of things have happened. We spoke about transformations that we did, and we also spoke about spending time with family. So let's speak about a few things that we can be very, very grateful about. Let's talk some gratitude today, and let's leave it on a very, very high note. I want to speak just a few things. I have family time. Family time is something I never used to be now. As my family knows, I leave the morning and I come back the evening. My house is just a place where I eat and sleep. And the whole pandemic, I couldn't go to work and hustle and bustle, couldn't be with friends and all of that. So I spent a lot more time at home, and that made me tackle things that I've been putting on the back burner. Like, for example, I've been wanting to build a garden for so many years. In pandemic, I did it in 2 weeks. I was like, why?
Garden,
you know what I'm saying? And I was like, why did it take so long? I thought it was so complicated. I really just needed time. Like time for make time for it. And I accomplished it in 2 weeks, you know. Also, new work opportunities came up, gigs that I've never done before, you know, are coming up now. And I was like, wow, you know, and it's also part of the whole pandemic thing. So that's something I can be grateful of. I started my new online podcast, you know. I've got an online platform where I speak to celebrities about. I've had Mel also on the show. It's called The Price of Fame. So we speak about, you know, all the challenges and their journey and things like that. I also had a lot of time to write some material that I've been wanting to write, and I always thought I was too busy. So I'm grateful for those things. Chris, could you share with us some of the things that you are grateful with?
I'm grateful for friends who helped me out of my depression and so
Yes.
on. I've had a lot of help and support, friends coming to encourage me and so on. And so when I woke and back to my strength and so begin ek nou eers met die plankies te kap and so on. And after that, I decided I must give back now. And so I started walking again with individual friends, and then I started to take groups of people. And so now I've taken a group of young people from the Cape Cultural Collective on walks and so on, and I take other friends and we go hiking and so on. And in that way we appreciate our nature and we strengthen ourselves and so on. And so that's been very good for me. And yeah, I've survived in that particular way, and I write my poetry. And can I do the Khoisan blessing for people?
All right, one more for the road. Why not?
Mag die son en die maan en die sterretjies altyd oor julle se koppe glans, en die voeltjies en die bokkies en die vlindertjies altyd voor julle op julle se voetpaadjies dans. Mag julle se maake nooit honger na kos en julle se pense nooit opdroog van die dors. En wanneer julle klaar geloop het op dese aarde, mag die wat agterna kom sê, kyk, hier het mooi mense geloop. Al spore gee ons nuwe hoop. Mag die son en die maan en die sterretjies altyd oor julle se koppe glans, en die voeltjies en die bokkies en die vlindertjies altyd voor julle op julle se voetpaadjies dans.
Oh, that was a very lovely. I think it was a gratitude poem. It was a very lovely one.
That was very lovely.
Eugene.
Finger clicks.
Eugene, come on, Eugene. Please tell us, what are you grateful for in this 2021?
I am grateful to still have my mother.
Absolutely.
Without that lady, if I didn't have that person as my mother, then I would have turned out way more. Like, I'm already so intense. Imagine if I didn't have Regina Matthews raising me. It would have been wow. I found romance this year. I found intimacy with guys. I'm try my best not
Cupid
to
was
brag
working.
about it, but I've been single for a very, very long time. So in April, I met somebody and we're still together. And like, I get why people are so hectic about having intimacy in their lives. It's amazing. It's fabulous. We're probably not going to last, but while I have him, we're going to be fantastic together. Mal, do you remember that day when we filmed Comedy Mixtape, all the comedy, the stand-up sets?
Yeah.
Now, on that date, we went to a restaurant. Myself and my friends went to a restaurant because it was the day after my birthday. We went to a restaurant for dinner, my birthday dinner, and then 3 armed gentlemen walked in and they robbed that whole restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And
that's not very positive.
Survived that. I survived that. Things could have gone so wrong. There could have just been a little miscommunication and gunshots could have gone off. But luckily, all I lost was my cell phone.
Yeah. Lovely. Now you can be,
Yes.
in these crazy times, you can be grateful for walking away from that unharmed, especially seeing that they had weapons, in that situation could have gone so many ways.
So many ways. This year I was taken to court. I was sued successfully and I survived that too.
Yeah.
But because of this whole thing, I've also come to realize that I have a lot of people in my house, well, not in my house, but in my life who they fed information to this guy that sued me. They fed him information, a lot of wrong information, but they fed him that information, which he used against me in court. And then I lost the case. And I was like, okay, the whole bunch of you out of my life, and I'm grateful to not have them in my life anymore.
Yes.
So look at silver linings. I am grateful for the silver linings. The tragedies, the traumas, all of those things happen. But that silver lining, that door is going to open. You just need to wait. Just wait. Just be patient. Bide your time. That door is going to open for you. And it did. And I'm in such a great space right now in terms of my performances, in terms of me as a person, as in me as a partner and as a friend to everybody who I hold dear. I feel like I'm since last year, the 30th of December, and this year, 30th of December, I like this Eugene a lot more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, New Eugene.
That's that self-transformation we're speaking about, man. I love that. Mel, is it something that you want to say?
I just wanted to say that based on what I just said to Eugene, Muriko breaking. We come from a culture of that. We come from a culture of Muriko breaking. You know what? I'm so grateful for this. Muriko breaking. And we come from a culture of the minute you want to be grateful for something, the minute you speak it out, the minute you want to try and speak something into existence or manifest something good in your life, then people want to kind of push you down and hold you down because that's the culture of where we come from. And I'm glad to see that is changing. I'm glad to see that people are starting to celebrate each other's gratitudes in each other's successes, which is good.
Yes.
I'm also really glad for having my family around. My mother's been ill and she's a lot better now, so I'm glad that's her. I'm glad that I have friends who I can tell everything to, whether we have great parties and celebrate and laugh together, or whether someone has some trauma in their lives and we can speak about it and celebrate each other and hold each other up and support each other. I have those kinds of friends, the honest, true kinds of friends that I can go through my ride or dies. I've got those.
Yes.
And I can remember being younger and having friends who were superficial and they'd walk away, and I've never ever had that. So it's such a good feeling to have people that I can literally tell anything to. They won't judge me. They don't care where I'm from. They don't care if I'm going to be on the TV, if I'm going to be on the radio, if I'm going to be in the newspaper. They don't care. They just want to be my friend. They just want to be Mel's friend. And I'm happy that I have those relationships. I think those are the things that I've held most dear this past 2 years, is those relationships, those thick blood. Blood is thicker than water, but water can also keep you from dying. So there's those kinds of relationships.
Yes. We need water to survive.
There's a difference between relatives and family.
Yeah.
And you have family.
I have family. I'm grateful for those relationships, and I'm grateful to continue. Oh, I'm also grateful that we had a lekker Christmas lunch. We had a very lekker Christmas lunch. People will say, they were suffering, but we had a lekker Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
The yellow works. The yellow
The
menu.
yellow works. We even had
Menu.
prawns, my bro.
Mm.
Prawns, we had prawns.
Yes. 200 appias. Yeah. You only
Uh,
live
for
once.
starters or some main meal prawns?
Starters.
Okay.
We had
Ah,
prawns,
that's how we
starters.
start.
No. And then we had an oxtail stew, and then we had mains, which was gammon. Ek gaan vir jou my menu sê nee.
Nie jy breek weer, jy breek.
I'm just telling you what I'm grateful for. I'm just saying what I'm grateful.
Yes, that is so true. I mean, a lot of people that, especially this time around with Christmas, they've lost so much relatives, you know. So this experience of Christmas was not the same for so many families, and yet we are so grateful that we can actually sit and have a conversation and say like, "Yo, we are so grateful that we had our family." You know, I haven't had family come over to our house, and we haven't had guests coming over to our house for Christmas in a while. So it was really, really nice to treat them and just be in the Christmas spirit. I was up early and I was braaiing. We also had a liquor starter there. I made a liquor seafood potjie for starter. Yeah. Yeah, we also had gammon. And lamb. En uit die braai chicken also. En potato salad. En trifle.
Moenie speel nie. Oh, no, of course, trifles are
What
given.
trifle?
Hello?
I heard
Trifles
about
are
the
given.
chocolate.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Cream in caramel.
Hey.
Don't play with it.
It's
Don't
like a
play with
dessert
the
potjie.
formula.
It's like a dessert potjie. You throw everything in,
Yeah.
and then you just put it in the fridge, and then it comes out tasting like one thing, and you call it trifle.
Yes. But don't mess with the formula of trifle. Like, people want to come be fancy.
Yes,
fancy.
yes. You've got experts on the Cape Flats that knows their trifle stories.
That's all for jou vertel.
Yeah.
I feel like my mother makes
a
the best
trifle is
trifle.
not so trivial as you think it
That's
might
what
be.
everyone says, but I feel like my mother
You know what?
makes
I
the best
like
trifle.
you, Lunga. Don't start a fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been one hell of a show. I don't know if I can even say the H-E. Well, he broke the ice, so I can say anything.
Heck of a show.
It's been a heck of a show, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, Eugene.
Bye, Eugene. Okay.
He pooped us off the air.
He's about to live without saying goodbye.
Because we didn't invite him for Christmas lunch.
Yeah. You didn't get to speak about his Christmas shame. He probably ate bread. It's fine though. It's fine, Eugene. But yeah,
He
like
had
I
bread
said,
with his partner, so it's fine.
yeah, we've had a lovely time on the show. Mel, did you have a great time?
I had a delightful evening.
Oh,
Thank you
lovely,
so
lovely.
much.
Chris, how was tonight for you?
Thank you for meeting such famous people. It was
Absolutely.
quite
op TV, ja.
I almost touched her.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, if you tuned in tonight, I want to thank you so much. You've made it everything. We enjoyed ourselves. That was my first time, by the way. It's my first time doing radio. Wow. Crazy. And tonight I was standing in for Mr. Ryan Fortune, but it's been a lovely experience for myself. I've enjoyed myself. My name is Lunga Chika, the Energizer Funny. You've been tuned into the Cornerstone Critical Dialogue on Bush Radio. We ended it, today we were speaking everything about 2021 in review, and we ended it on a beautiful, lovely note of gratitude. Let's walk into 2022. We have one more day. Let's walk into 2022 with all the things that we are grateful for and all the transformations that we have picked up and all the things that we want to achieve. Let's make it amazing. I had fun tonight. It's it from me. Good night.
Unlearning proposes that new ways of learning can only be acquired when individuals unlearn those thoughts, those emotions, and those behaviors that prevent us from fully flourishing in the world.
2 weeks into this course, my heart already knew that my entire viewpoint on humanity was going to change.
During the years that I've worked with Taryn, she has assisted me in seeing the potential as an individual, and the course has changed my life for the better. I am the person that I am today because of the course that I enrolled for.
I've been lecturing the content for 7 years, and every year I am in awe of students who share how the content has transformed them both academically and personally. I believe that the world right now is in desperate need of an education that equips individuals with both academic and personal development skills.
Before this course happened, I used to hate people from the bottom of my soul. But after this course, for the first time in my life, I can say that I no longer hate people. I can finally say that I no longer see people for their circumstances, but rather for who they are as people and who they can become.
The things that I learned in my early childhood about who I was not and who I was supposed to be. However, the course showed me the true identity of myself. It showed me that it was okay to be vulnerable. It showed me that it was okay to heal. And throughout the course, I have grown tremendously.
And the unlearning course does that. I realized that the content was so powerfully transformative that it would be irresponsible, that it would be selfish for me not to share it with the world. Unlearning is really a course that I've been lecturing for 7 years, but I've made it bigger, I've made it better, and I'm excited to incorporate the performing arts. I do not believe that unlearning needs to be clinical and boring. We can also make unlearning entertaining and fun.
To anyone that would want to enroll in this course, it will not only benefit you academically, but also individually. It will assist you in presenting yourself as the true individual that you are, but it will also assist you in healing and journeying the life process.
This course was the missing puzzle piece that I needed in my journey of self-transformation and self-discovery. And most of all, this course taught me how to unlearn this toxic behavior and how to choose happiness and positivity in the present and to stop worrying about tomorrow.
The gift of this course is that it is universally applicable to any personal and professional context. Cornerstone. Learn to change the world.
In this time of great uncertainty, there's one thing you can be certain of: your education. Our wide range of online programs let you upskill yourself and earn a leading-edge qualification from the comfort of your own home. We've been educating Africa for 50 years, so we know how to adapt to our forever-changing landscape. Learn to change the world and take control today. Speak to one of our student advisors. Visit cornerstone.ac.za to enroll now.